Welcome back. In a major shake-up within Nigeria's oil sector, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has dismissed the managing directors of its three key refineries, Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna. The decision, which also affected several senior officials and staff nearing retirement, follows President Bola Tinubu's earlier directive that saw the removal of NNPCL's former CEO, Mele Kyari, and the entire board. This restructuring move is part of ongoing efforts to revive the oil and gas industry and reposition NNPCL for efficiency and accountability. Olufemi Lawson, quickly, the new management and board of NNPCL, led by its Group Chief Executive Officer, Bayo Ojulari, have sacked the MDs of Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries. Now, with this latest shakeup, what should Nigerians be hopeful for?
Well, it's the sack of these three MDs is in line with the ongoing restructuring. It is not alien, and it is expected that beyond infusing new hands into the sector, as promised by the new MG CEO of NNPCL, I think we must also not overlook the question of transparency and accountability. We've heard information about the possible probe of the activities of these MDs while they were in office. So Nigerians do not just want new hands to manage some of these institutions. Nigerians also deserve, transparent and accountable leadership. When people are given position, especially of public trust, they must be ready to give account at every given time they are called to do so. So beyond the shake-up being the attempt by the new management of NNPCL to bring up new hands and possibly hands that the new GCO can work with, we must also look further into analyzing the tenure of these three managing directors and even the previous leadership of the NNPCL, analyzing the transparency and accountability of how they spent their time in office. This is very key, because if you look at the restructuring that President Tinubu is currently embarking upon in that sector, it is not just about making it possible for Nigerians to earn more from the petroleum industry, but to also ensure that public accountability becomes very crucial. We were all here when the former, when the candle was let out of the bag about the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. We saw the tragedy that befell the CBN as a result of the leadership of Mr. Emefiele as the governor of the Central Bank. Why are we not going to be talking about the leadership of Mele Kyari as NNPCL, the managing directors who served under him, who's under leadership? These refineries were rehabilitated. So beyond replacing them, I think it's also important that the government take steps further in ensuring that their tenures are cautiously interrogated, probed to the extent that Nigerians know how public funds have been utilized by these people while they're in office.
All right, thank you very much. Now, just very quickly, the sack came and amid reports of abysmal performance of Port Harcourt and Warri refineries after the rehabilitation last year. Why is it difficult for people in leadership positions to do the barest minimum? After spending billions of dollars for rehabilitation, I mean, you still choose to leave it in the shadows.
Well, in my own opinion, Mark, I think it's a lack of accountability.
Right.
If I put you in a position of leadership, I must be able to hold you accountable.
Now, you are saying hold us accountable. Yes. Is this as a result of past administrations that couldn't do anything about the laxity and the ample loophole that kept erupting every time in these industries that nobody checked, and it's surmounted to where we are today?
So those that did it before, what are the consequences? Let me expand what you said. Last year, about over $1 billion was released to Port Harcourt. Almost $1 billion was released to Warri and Kaduna Refinery. Port Harcourt is not operating. News carrying it up maximally at the moment. Warri Refinery has stopped. Same with Kaduna Refinery.
That's still something on the check. According to reports,
according to
it's on the
reports.
check. Yeah,
it's under the
Warri
check.
Refinery is still kicking, maybe not at optimal performance. Yeah,
according to report. Now, what I'm saying is this: I will assume when they were releasing the fund was released for an optimal performance.
Okay.
You assume you work for me. I'm the president. I need these refineries to work.
Okay.
What do you need to get them working? Then I release them to you. You give me a timeline.
True.
Then within my timeline, I expect that you should be able to make these things work. Then when you can make it work, then you leave. So when I had the shake-up, I was very happy because we really need these things to work so that it can be in line with the agenda of the president.
All right, Olufemi Lawson, very quickly, for a very long time, the NNPCL seemed untouchable, but it's a different ball game with this administration. Now, they aren't leaving anything to chance at all. Now, should Nigerians start believing again that Nigeria can be great again if we continue in this trajectory of not tolerating incompetence?
Well, the president has a duty to further convince Nigerians. Recall that President Bola Tinubu reappointed Mele Kyari, for a second tenure after the expiration of his previous term in office. The first decision to eventually get him go home, and dissolve the board. So it is a radical decision, but the president must deepen it further by not just hiring and firing people, but by making them accountable, to Nigerians. It is not enough to just appoint one MD today, remove him tomorrow, and get another person on board doing the same thing, just by different people. The president must go further in ensuring that, in convincing Nigerians that it really means business, just like he's demonstrating. It does ensure that probity and accountability becomes, a core principle of the operation of public institutions in Nigeria. So it is not enough to sack somebody for underperforming or to sack somebody for question of, corruption or whatever the case may be. The president must take the charge, lead by ensuring that people are made to answer, for their services wherever they are called upon by the government. So it is appreciable that the president is taking this step, but the president must deepen this by ensuring that people are made to account for whatever they have done while in public offices in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much.